Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great day. I just wanted to make this video because there's just something that's been on my heart this morning that God kind of was speaking to me about. It's gonna be a more personal video, kind of out of my element. I haven't done this before. So yeah, bear with me. But I just kind of wanted to come on here to kind of talk about like the seasons of life. And yeah, like we all have different seasons, some good, some bad, but not to be a Debbie Downer, but I kind of wanted to just be real and talk about the bad season of life. More personally, like a season that I kind of went through from this past year that God has kind of brought me out of, and I've been slowly but surely seeing that in the best way possible. And I hope this maybe could encourage someone else, maybe just speak life into someone else. And yeah, so I just kind of wanted to be real and kind of explain, like, I don't want any, like, people feeling bad for me or anything. That's not the point of this video at all. I just want to come on here as a fellow believer and kind of just speak how God's been working through my life, and maybe even just use it to encourage another person or allow it to maybe spark a connection or conversation with another person or whatever that may be or may come of this. I don't know. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to not get too in depth, but also still be real and upfront. So just what I've dealt with over the past year with graduating from Liberty and coming out of that transition. So for me, a year ago actually, I was just in a season of obviously very stressed, like just a lot of stress, because you have to have so many things done before you graduate. I was on the verge of not graduating on time. It was just a lot of stress, and I didn't know where God wanted me next, and if he wanted me to stay at Liberty for grad school or go live at home, which I didn't really want to do at first, but here I am. All good things, but yeah, so it was just a time of a lot of stress, and honestly, I was neglecting my personal relationship with God, and I wasn't taking that time to really just be like in connection with him in prayer and reading his word, and I was kind of just pushing it on the back burner. And honestly, eventually it all just exploded and it came out, and it was not a fun time, because once everything kind of died down after I graduated and went home, and I was like, oh shoot, like this is real, like I have to figure out what I'm doing right now, what I'm doing next. Do I have a job lined up? No. Like, what am I doing? So when I moved back home, honestly, I was depressed, like, and I'm not just saying that, like I actually mean that. Like, I was feeling extremely depressed, and I didn't have many friends here at all. I wasn't really involved with my home church as much because of me being away at school. But I would like to be involved. At the time, I was just really struggling internally with why I felt the way I felt, and kind of actually just facing it head on, because I was having to be alone with myself a lot. And as many of you probably know, like when you get alone, like the devil will try to get in your head, and like your thoughts just start to take over, and just it gets hard. Yeah, so it was just months of that. Like over the summer, I was just feeling very depressed and frustrated at myself because I was feeling depressed, and I just was like wondering what was wrong with me. And there was days where I just couldn't take it, and I was like crying all day, and like I had to call my mom to like calm me down and bring me kind of back to earth a little bit from those thoughts. And once I started to kind of realize, like, shoot, like it's not a bad thing to ask for help. And my mom was the first person I asked to kind of be like, hey, like, listen, like I'm feeling these things and it's starting to scare me, because I'm thinking just some horrible thoughts that I don't know where they're coming from, and it's kind of starting to worry me. And I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. And at that point, I was going to my home church more so. I was being more involved, but I just wasn't feeling like I was feeling attached, or another term for it would be like I didn't feel the presence of God. And I just was really frustrated because I didn't know why, because I was doing all the right things supposedly. Like, I was trying really hard and going to church and really trying to strive after him and getting my life back on track as far as my spiritual journey. And I was starting to make friends at church, and I made a really good best friend, actually, and it helped me a lot during that season, whether those people may know it or not. But yeah, I also just realized that, I was on, to be real, I was on medication for birth control for my acne, which, long story, but that has like a little bit to do with it, only because of how it affected my mental health, and I didn't realize it. It was also contributing to my depression. So when I got off of it, I noticed a very significant difference, an improvement in like feeling more like myself gradually. So that sort of contributed to it, which did not help. But I just wanted to kind of like explain like that everyone deals with things that may not be present or be physically, like, I guess, I don't know how to explain it, but like everyone goes through seasons of life and struggles in life, and you don't realize it because people don't voice it. They're not sometimes open about it, or they're just very they're just trying to figure out kind of how they're feeling, or even what the feeling is, why they're feeling it. And sometimes, like me, I just don't want to ask for help because I'm like, I'm fine, it's fine, like, it's all fine, it'll be fine. But like in reality, like sometimes it's just not fine, and you have to realize that sometimes you actually do need help. And again, like, I was trying to go see a counselor at the time. Like, this just, for me, I personally couldn't afford it at the time, unfortunately. So I just had to use the only resource that I had, which is God. And that's the most important resource you could ever have with dealing with mental health, especially. And for me, I decided that I was like, I need to make this serious, and I need to realize that I'm in the real world now. I might not have that many friends. I might not have like a good job or a job at all right now. I don't know where I'm going. I didn't know where I was going to go for grad school. Ended up figuring that out probably a week before school started, and ended up going Liberty Online, which I love. But it was just a very scary season, and I honestly, like, my faith is what got me through. Like, there's nothing else that I could say that helped me as much as God. Yes, counseling probably would have helped, but at the same time, like, it's just my journey. I wasn't able to afford it. But anyways, that's just me. I totally would have done it though. But yeah, so I now, like, from the months leading up, like since it, like, maybe September, I've noticed all of the ways that God has blessed me and kind of moved me forward slowly but surely. I noticed that he's kind of like gives me little steps here and there to take to kind of move me forward, and not so much like just shove me completely into what he has for me, because he's trying to ready me first and gradually take me where he wants me to go, and also to see if I'm going to be obedient to what he's telling me, what he's leading me to do, little things here and there. And so I've seen a lot of blessing coming from it, from like such a dark place that I was in last summer. And my faith is probably the strongest it's ever been, probably in my life right now. And that's only because obviously, like, God has just been blessing me with the right people, the right opportunities, he's shown me his faithfulness through it. Whether or not some days I like felt that or not, I know that he has been faithful through it all. Even if I wasn't necessarily feeling that like he was there or not, I know he was always there. It's just a matter of fact, like sometimes you can't base God and your relationship with him off of your feelings. Sometimes you have to base it off of obviously who he says he is and what he's done for you before and what he's going to do for you, what he says he's going to do for you from like the word, and go with that and trust that and be faithful to him as well through that. And through that like time, through this season, he's blessed me with a lot of really good godly people and friends who have helped me through various trials, or just walked with me through life and really kind of just showed me that they care about me, vice versa. And I'm like really thankful for that, because I needed that so much, and I was praying for community so bad, because as believers, like God even says like the church is better when it's unified and when we're together walking through life together, or it's always going to be just better, and we're going to be able to also more clearly understand God through that, those connections, and also share what God has done and what he says he will do to other people who may not be believers as well. Yeah, so I feel like for me, at least, from transitioning from college to real life, like living at home, it's been like very difficult, and I know that not everyone goes through that, but there are some people that I like that do go through that, and I haven't realized it, and I surely wasn't expecting it to be like that hard. With all of the life changes that you don't even realize you have to readapt to and kind of be thrown into, especially from going to Liberty, being in like that Liberty bubble, so to speak, because like, I mean, like, I don't regret going there at all. I am so blessed by going there. It's just sometimes it's hard coming out of that bubble and being like, oh shoot, like this is how like the real world is. This is how other people may live that like maybe aren't believers, and it's like kind of a reality shock sometimes in a sense, because you have to really own your faith and really stand by what you believe in and be set apart, because God calls us to be set apart. And I just want to let you know that like if you are struggling like I did, like I struggled for probably 9 months straight with just feeling completely like not even like just empty in a way, like, and just frustrated with myself, frustrated with how I felt and why I felt the way I did, even though it was normal. It's just, it's hard. Like depression's hard. People who deal with it every day, I couldn't imagine. Like I, like by the grace of God, like God pulled me out of that hole and he brought me out of it, and especially out of anxiety as well, because anxiety can sometimes creep up on you along with depression. I go 2 and 2 sometimes. But I haven't experienced any depression or anxiety in months now, and I'm very thankful for that, because I know that God is a faithful God and he's gonna bring you out of it. And eventually, like, everyone has different seasons, and some longer than others. Unfortunately, some are longer, and it's just a matter of whether or not you really want to just take a hold of that and really just admit that yes, you are struggling, but also yes, like God is still faithful and he's still going to be with you through the fire and through the trials, and he's going to bring you out better than you were before, and he's going to allow you to learn things through that trial, and it's not just going to be for nothing. Yes, it's not fun. It's really not fun, and often you feel kind of hopeless and you feel like you might never come out of it, but in the end, like, God will bring you through. It could be months, it could be years, but he'll always bring you through, and he'll always be there for you. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to share kind of what I was going through in my season of life, coming out of college and transitioning to just living at home again, and kind of like just coming out without like a job and just not even knowing where I was gonna go to school, just very confused, and just feeling that like I just wasn't connected with God, and yeah. So I just kind of wanted to come on here to encourage someone else who might have gone through similar things, might eventually go through similar things. Hopefully you don't, but I just want to just reach out and see if anyone maybe needs that person to talk to, or even if you don't know me that well, like, I want to be able to talk to you. If you need someone, like, just message me. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll talk to anyone. I'm so open to talking to you, especially about God and just what he's been doing in your life. And even if you just need some encouragement or someone to walk alongside you, never fail to just reach out to me. I will definitely keep up with that and talk to you if you need anything at all. But yeah, so I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and yeah, see ya.